So Jesus begins his teaching with what we have long called the Beatitudes. Now, this is a weird English word that we use actually as a direct transcription from the Latin word beatus, which means happy or flourishing. This is what this first section was called in the Latin Bible, and that's why we call it that today. It's the happy statements. The Greek word that Matthew uses is makarios, which, like beatus, means happy or flourishing or thriving or shalom, however you want to translate it. So technically, what we call the teachings in Matthew 5, 3-12 are macarisms. They are Jesus' explanation of what the thriving or flourishing life really looks like. Now, I know most of our translations begin Jesus' teachings here with the repeated word blessed. It's not all bad, but it can also be a little confusing, and here's why. Jesus' statements are not descriptions of what God's blessings look like, or statements about what you and I are supposed to do if we want to experience God's blessings. If you look at them, you'll quickly see that. That's not what ancient macarisms or beatitudes do. That's not how they function. That's not what Jesus is saying either. No, beatitudes or macarisms are descriptions of what the flourishing or thriving life looks like. We see these in the Old Testament too. Like think of Psalm 1. It describes the flourishing life as not walking in the counsel of wicked people, but as a life of joyfully meditating on God's instructions, with the result being a picture of flourishing, a tree planted by streams of water that bears its fruit in season. So what Jesus is doing here, following the lead of Psalm 1 and many other teachers of his day, he is offering his own understanding of what it looks like to flourish in God's kingdom. That part is expected of any great leader. But here's where it gets shocking, and here's what takes a very unexpected turn. If you look at Jesus' Beatitudes, his macarisms, his statements of what it means to be truly happy, you will see that what he describes as the thriving, as the good life, is not at all what you and I would expect or desire. In fact, almost everything Jesus says in the Beatitudes is negative. Poverty of spirit, mourning, being meek, which means that you don't get the credit and honor you deserve, hungering and thirsting for righteousness. That may sound positive, but those are negative terms. Hungering and thirsting, it means you are longing for the world to be set to right, seeing and feeling its brokenness in your bones like hunger and thirst. When he says that you're happy if you're merciful and peacemaking, that means you're not always getting the justice you deserve. You're choosing to give up rights and to be wronged by someone, to forgive, which is when you forgive someone, you are giving up some honor that was due to you, and you make peace even if others don't deserve it. And he concludes these statements of happiness by saying that you're happy or flourishing when you're maligned, misrepresented, mistreated, and slandered. This is crazy. But this is precisely the way of Christ himself. And therefore, if we want to be disciples of him and enter into his kingdom, this must be and this will be our experience. To be a Christian is to follow Christ, and it is often very difficult. It is a narrow and thorny way. But the reason Jesus starts this way is because he is inviting us to reorient our understanding of ourselves. He's inviting us to reorient our understanding of God and the world we live in. He is inviting us to see and be in the world in a different way, an often unnatural way to us, the way that corresponds with God's coming kingdom of heaven. So Jesus is not telling us to do something in the Beatitudes. He's not telling us to do something so we can earn God's blessing. He's describing for us in an unexpected and transformative way how to find the true flourishing life we long for, the shalom. It's only to be found, he says, through following in Jesus' way, the upside down, unexpected, suffering way of the kingdom.